Hello everybody and welcome to week 10 of the Pokemon Battle League. I am Evan, head coach of the Saffron City Sneasels, and today we are going to be taking a look at my battle against Cheryl of the Veilstone City Weedles? I think it's Viridian Forest? I'm not sure. Some sort of Weedle. Cheryl and I wanted to battle in person, but she ended up being very busy that week, so we weren't able to. So we had to battle over long distances, and that's fine, I guess. So I opened up with my Budweiser, seeing that she doesn't really have a good answer to it on her roster from what I can tell. She opened up with her Noivern, went out for that Dragon Pulse, which I handled pretty well, and I got my rocks up. Stealth Rocks are going to be a very big part of the game for me, as you'll see throughout this match. She goes for her Defog, so now I have ruled out that this thing could be Choice Scarfed. I was originally a little afraid that this thing could be Choice Scarfed to guarantee that it would be able to outspeed my Greninja under any circumstances, because it is 1 point faster than Greninja. So if my Greninja was Scarfed and her Noivern was Scarfed, she would be able to still win no matter what. But I see that it's not Scarfed because it uses two different moves. I roar out the Noivern, and here comes the Olmec. I'm a couple turns behind. Doesn't really matter. The Noivern, or the Olmec, the Bronzong, is going to be going for a Reflect, and I'm going to take this chance to Mega Evolve. Not so much for the damage. I don't know if this is going to be Heat Proof or Levitate, because there are good uses. There are good reasons to use each one in this week. I'm Mega Evolving mostly so I can avoid taking massive Stealth Rock damage later in the match, because I don't have a Defogger this week. The main reason I don't is because I'm going to be putting Stealth Rocks up on her side as often as possible, and she has Volcarona. So I'm kind of putting the onus on her to remove any hazards. It's kind of like we both need them removed, but if I put the pressure on, I'll just let her remove them if she really wants them. She goes out to a Rock Slide, and it did a good amount, but I was still in position to 2-hit KO, so she switches out to the Milk Spank, which I can tell is physically defensive, because with the Reflect up, and even with the Reflect up, it did nothing, so it was very disappointing. I go out to the Budweiser though, because I'm pretty sure that this thing usually runs Thunder Wave from what I've seen in the past, and it does run Thunder Wave again, so I'm immune, and I doubt that this thing can really hurt me, so I figure I'll just continue doing what Budweiser does. So she withdraws, knowing that she can't really touch me, and goes back out to Noivern, the Airpod. And I'm already kind of realizing, like, okay, yeah, there is absolutely nothing she can do to the Mudsdale. And she can kind of just, like, recycle defogging, but she can't hurt this thing, and Stamina is going to make it basically impossible to whittle me down. Her only special attackers that could really dent me, I guess, would be like a Coco with like a Dazzling Beam or Hidden Powered Ice. Noivern with Dragon Pulse doesn't even seem to 3-hit KO. And she did not bring Mega Venusaur or Starmie, so she doesn't have really hard-hitting special attackers with super effective damage. So I got for the Rock Slide this time, expecting the Defog, because there's no point in like wasting a turn roaring again if I'm not going to be able to phase people with the rocks. And figuring that she will be fearing another Rock Slide, I do believe I go for a Stealth Rock here. She goes for the U-turn, boosting my defenses with Stamina, which only matters if she's going to be going out to a physical attacker. And she goes out to Milk Spank, which is a physical attacker, I believe, so I'm not really sure what her goal was here. I think she might have just felt lost, not knowing what to do against this thing. And I do go out for the rocks because I didn't expect her to stay in the Penultimate. So now I've got rocks up, and I can basically be really, really annoying here and just continue to sort of roar this thing over and over again until I finally hit the Volcarona. So I do go for the roar, and she's kind of damned if she does, damned if she doesn't, because if she switches out, then I get to deal extra damage on the Stealth Rocks. If she stays in, she can't do anything, and I still roar anyway. So it's kind of, it feels a little shitty on my part to just keep clicking the same move, but there's nothing she can do, so why give her a chance? But she does roll one of the better options, which is Olmec, instead of someone that I would have preferred, like Volcarona, to get hit by the roar. She goes up for the, I believe it's another Reflect, and I make a prediction here that I'll be able to safely bring in my Greninja, and I'm kind of just trying to keep forcing switches on her side. Unfortunately, she did not switch out fearing like a Dark Pulse or a Night Slash, so I U-turn, and I kind of lose a little bit of turn priority, which is a little annoying, but not a huge deal. And I'm just going to go back out to the Budweiser, because, once again, nothing you can do. Goes for the Gyro Ball, which is going to be laughably weak, because I think, actually slower than that thing. I think Mudscale has 35 speed, which is weird because he's a horse, so you'd think he'd be a bit faster, but not really. So I'm +1 defense, and I think that's it's only got 2 physical attacking moves, Rock Slide and Gyro Ball, both of which, well, one I resist, one I basically resist. And then out comes the Air Pod again, taking that Stealth Rock damage, and it just feels bad. I don't know, like, I feel a little, I don't know, I don't feel guilty, but it does feel like I probably put her through a lot of pain with this match. Like, it probably didn't feel very fun on her side. I guess I am describing guilt. Yeah, I'm describing guilt. I feel guilty. Yeah, it's a guilty thing that I feel, because I did her dirty with this matchup. But it's also kind of on her. She didn't plan for the Budweiser. I didn't go into this match thinking I would completely Roar phase the entire match, spamming Roar and hoping to get super effective Stealth Rock damage like I do right here with the Volcarona. I didn't plan for that to be the whole strategy. I just expected that to be like a small part of the strategy. And it just turned out that it was better than expected. So you see I get the Volcarona, and because she didn't have the EV spread correctly, it does half damage instead of just under half damage. I go out for the Rock Slide in case it wanted to stay, in case the Volcarona wanted to stay in and Giga Drain if it had Giga Drain. And it didn't, so it ends up being the Crocodile. And after an Intimidate drop, it does nothing, and this is kind of a fun move. I go for Roar, but she went for Dragon Tail. So her minus priority is faster than my minus priority, so I do get phased out, which is very fun. And it randomly brings out the Handmaiden, the Ditto, who is going to morph into the Crocodile, and yeah, it's just, I believe I go for the knockoff, just because it's like the safest move if I'm choice locked into something, because obviously Ditto's usually going to be choice locked, and she knows that, and she probably doesn't want to lose her item, so she goes out to Milk Spank. I guess she figured leftovers were the easiest thing to give up, or maybe it was because I'm a physical attacker and she just wants to be able to tank something the best she can. So yeah, the knockoff gets rid of the leftovers, which makes things move along. I guess I can't really say faster, this is a kind of a long match, but it accelerates things a bit. So she goes out to the Earthquake. It's hard for me to figure out what she was going for. Again, I just think it's one of those things where I don't think there was an answer on her team. Other like for the Mudsdale. Maybe she could have tried to double predict when I would bring out the Mudsdale and bring out something like Coco, but Coco can't one-shot with Hidden Power Ice or Dazzling Gleam, so you need to whittle me down to like probably 50% first, and I don't know how you do that. I guess maybe Draco Meteor or Boom Burst on the Noivern, but I don't think that, I don't even know if she had those moves, because we saw the Dragon Pulse and the Defox. I think it was very supporty. As you can see here, I get another phase out to the Volcarona, eliminating it, so Volcarona's been destroyed without even getting to voluntarily come into the match. And then out comes Airpod again, taking more Stealth Rock damage. I don't think it's taken one direct hit on a Rock Slide, but most of that health is just Stealth Rock health damage. So here comes the Dragon Pulse, and yeah, it's not enough. Yeah, it would need to be doing, like, that was a critical hit, and it still did less than half. It did probably, I don't know, 2/5, 40%. And I just got for the Rock Slide to get the easy KO, and honestly, the critical hit was something that she really needed, but she needed even more luck than that to get through the Mudsdale, because the only other attacker she has, once again, would be the Coco. And I think she makes a mistake here by going out to the Crocodile. I think she should have gone to the Coco, and I mean, I didn't calc it, maybe she did, but I imagine that Coco possibly would be able to, no it wouldn't. Coco could not kill from me. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to fault Cheryl, other than just her prep going into the match, not planning for Mudsdale. Like, I can't think of a better move on her side, honestly. She Dragon Tails me again, which is fine. I get lucky though, and I get my Greninja. And I know that it's not Scarfed, or if it is, it's Dragon Tailing, so I'm going to go first anyway. So I'm just going to go after that Ice Beam, and that's going to easily KO. So I'm picking up KOs without even really actively pursuing them. Greninja just sort of falls into the KO. It's very convenient. And out comes Miller Lite, making this truly now a battle of the light beers, as we have a Budweiser and a Miller Lite. Well, I guess mine's not a light beer. Mine's just Budweiser. So that obviously forces the switch, and I go out to Lucky, my Jirachi, which has not gotten to see play yet. Jirachi is Assault Vested this week to be able to handle Coco, among other things, including Venusaur, which was not brought, and Starmie, which was not brought. And out comes the Milk Spank, which is fine because I am going to just click Psychic, and maybe I'll get lucky and get a special defense job. It's 40% chance, I believe. And I do get it, so I know I will be able to 2-hit KO, so I figure she will have to switch out, but I don't exactly remember what I do here. She goes for the Thunder Wave, which I don't care about at all at this point in the match. So I do switch out. I think I was expecting the Crocodile switch. Or no, Crocodile's already there. What am I talking about? I switched out, and why did I do that? I don't know why I switched out. I think I should have just gone for another Psychic there. Oh, maybe I was expecting her to go out to the Olmec, the Bronzong. That's what I was doing, because I have the Dark Pulse. And now it comes out, and this time I thought she was actually going to stay in. So you can see this is kind of an awkward series of mispredicts. I go for the Psychinium Z off the Extra Sensory, trying to hit the Miltank as hard as I could. And now the Olmec comes out, which is what I wanted to come out a couple turns ago. It's actually fine for me. I mean, it looks bad that a Psychinium Z does, what, I don't know, 15-20 damage to this Bronzong, but it's okay because now I can just click Dark Pulse on the next turn and just get the KO. And if she wants to switch out, then that's just more Stealth Rock damage, and it's just delaying the inevitable. So yeah, I just get the Dark Pulse KO here. Greninja's just picking up the scraps from all the work that Mudsdale's doing. Honestly, Mudsdale is single-handedly carrying this match. I don't mean this in like a shitty way, but Mudsdale could kind of almost 1v6 her whole team at this point. Maybe like Mudsdale would need like support of one Pokemon, so like 2v6. So I'm gonna go after the Ice Beam here just to get some damage on this thing because it's physically defensive. And it does not enough to 2-hit KO, so it's just a really bulky Pokemon in general. And the Earthquake does quite a bit, so I know I won't be able to stay in and keep whittling it down, plus it has Milk Drink, so I'm just going to U-turn out of here. These last few minutes, it's going to seem like I'm... I don't know, it might seem like I'm kind of like messing with Cheryl or toying with her, but I'm really just trying to guarantee that I get 6 KOs. And the reason for that is that Jacob and I are in the same division, and I am currently only 1 game back from him, but our KO to faint ratio is almost exactly the same. I believe his is like 2 KOs to 1, mine's like 1.9 to 1. So if we end up having the same record, I think it goes to head-to-head. But if I'm actually not sure. I don't think it does. I don't know if it goes head-to-head or KO to faint. But either way, I believe also Chris has a very good record in our division, so I want to make sure I win tiebreakers for playoff seeding. I honestly don't know if it's head-to-head first or KO to faint ratio first, because Jacob beat me earlier in the season, so in that case, KO to faint wouldn't matter. But I don't know the rule, and I didn't know the rule mid-battle, so my goal throughout all of this is just 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, and if that means dragging out the match to go a little longer, so be it. Also, I think Chris is only 2 games back from me, and I have to face him later in the season, so it's possible we could have an equal head-to-head matchup, and if we have the same record, I want to make sure I win that tiebreaker. So, it makes for poor video quality, I'd say, and it's not very fun to watch, but sometimes you gotta make the most optimal play for the season. So we've got it's just more Roarfest. Miller Lite versus Budweiser again, cracking open some cold ones. looking forward to the rest of the season. I believe I face Mike next week, who has taken over the Sunny Shore Sharpedo. Unfortunately, Brendan wasn't able to continue his season, so it's good to see Mike back in the league, though. And after that, we return to our divisional matchups to round out the season, and that is where it's going to get very exciting, very interesting. I'm probably going to be putting together a playoff outlook, like bracket thing. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Oh, like a bubble, like a playoff bubble, and determine, like, I did this last season before the playoffs, determine who's in, who's out, who's on the bubble, how many wins does each person need to make it to the playoffs, what scenarios do they need to unfold, and then even beyond that, like seeding and that kind of thing. So I'm probably going to start doing that this week now that all of these standings are out. I think it's just interesting to sort of follow those things, see which matchups really matter. I know that in my division, I think I'm guaranteed for playoffs, but I'm not sure if I'm guaranteed for winning Kanto. I actually don't know. I gotta check the standings. Because my conference is pretty tough with me and Jacob and Chris. I think those are the top 3 in our. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the top 3 in ours. Oh, is Cheryl in our? Cheryl might be in our division too. So yeah, that's like 4 teams that are in like the top of the league are in our conference. I think only the Secret Garden and Hoopas with Zach is. Oh, and Corey. Zach and Corey are in the other division with really top tier records, I think. Anyway, back to the map battle. Now that something's starting to happen again, sort of. There's more of this just back and forth of trying to whittle down this mill tank. And the mill tank keeps healing, which is making this take even longer. Cheryl's texting me at this time in the match saying, like, Evan, please, just end this. And I'm trying to. Like, it's kind of... She only has Earthquake as an attacking move. So I can taunt this thing with my Crobat, but I can't switch in certain things to hit it back. For example, the Jirachi doesn't want to take an Earthquake. The Charizard doesn't want to take an Earthquake after Stealth Rocks. The Greninja doesn't want to take an Earthquake because of how low he is. So to preserve the 6-0, I kind of need to make sure that I can taunt this thing and then safely bring out Pink Lemonade, the Crobat, to Brave Bird it like 3-4 times. She's also running out of PP on her Earthquake. I didn't think I'd find myself in one of those types of matches this season, but I did. So she's just spamming Stealth Rock because she's like running out of attacks, and I'm taunting her here just to ensure the Earthquake so she can't recover with Milk Drink, and then so she's just going to be throwing Earthquakes that will be immune, and then I'm just going to try to hopefully not get paralysis and then Brave Bird the game home. So that's what these last few turns are going to be. Good game, Cheryl. I know you're a very skilled battler, so I feel bad kind of making it look really ugly this week. But again, I think that was just prep. I honestly don't know what you could have done differently for the mud stay out. Very rarely would I say a match is over before it begins. And maybe there was something you could have done. Maybe your only option was to keep me on the back foot from turn 1 and I never get to set up my Mudsdale ideally. But honestly, yeah, I don't know what you could have done, so I'm sorry about that. Good game though. It was fun for most of it, and then it was very much a chore towards the end of it. Thank you guys for watching. If you've continued this far, I wouldn't blame you if you just skipped ahead to the very end. So if you're joining right now, thank you for watching, and tune in next week. Goodbye.